in standing committees, in full house, and especially to prepare legislation business. So I think member National Assembly was now able to do something better than the previous one.
Committees are very important to a parliamentary system. Many experts call them eyes and ears of a parliament. A committee is a tool to oversee the action of a government. For example, the Education Committee will focus on what the government should do in education sector. It will see what kind of changes are needed in policies and laws. It will also see that the service delivery to the public is as flawless as it should be.
I have been associated with your program for the last 2 and 3 years. I appreciate it. Your effort and the project effort for strengthening the Parliament of Pakistan. You have done a lot in this regard. We need your support in the areas of legislative drafting and strengthening of the committee system and the training of the staff related to the committees.
The problem was that the committees were understaffed and lacked technical capacities. We trained them not only in technical skills, but policy matters as well.
The link between Parliament and the media is a very significant one. It is through the media that the civil society gets to know what Parliament is doing. So making sure that the correct information gets to the public is of vital importance.
मेरा ख्याल है कि जो सिविल सोसाइटी के मेंबर्स हैं उनको मीडिया के वो लोग जो कि पार्लियामेंट को कवर करते हैं उनके साथ मिलके मेरा ख्याल है एक सेंसिटाइजेशन एडवोकेसी के प्रोग्राम्स करने चाहिए उन सवालात की और उस इंफॉर्मेशन की अहमियत से उनको आगाह किया जाना चाहिए तो मेरा ख्याल है कि उससे ये निज़ाम मज़ीद मजबूत हो सकता है लोगों को ज़्यादा मालूमात मिल सकती हैं अब बहुत सारे ऐसे चीज़ें हैं जो पहले कभी मालूम नहीं होती थी लेकिन अब काफ़ी बेहतर हुआ है कवरेज भी बेहतर हुई है लेकिन इसको मेरा ख्याल है कि मज़ीद बेहतर किया जा सकता है अगर इंटरैक्ट किया जाए मीडिया के इदारों के साथ और ख़ास तौर पे जो पार्लियामेंट्री कवरेज करते हैं
In Pakistan, news media concentrate mostly on reporting on statements made by prominent politicians of the country. In the past, parliamentary information has not been easily accessible to media and civil society. This was because there was a shortage of staff within the secretariat that could use non-conventional ways of information sharing, like websites and fact sheets. A training needs assessment of media persons was carried out. Based on this, a training plan on political, electoral and conflict reporting was made for the media. SDPD is executing it. SDPD also organized roundtable discussions between MPs and media persons on enhancing the accessibility of media to parliamentary information and developing a code of conduct for the media.
One of the focuses that we had was really to bring together people, and obviously the Parliament is the main focus, but the parliamentary representatives, they also need to, work with other groups, like for instance civil society groups that have a lot of knowledge and information on, certain issues that concern the people. They also need to work together with the media, who have a very important role to play in passing on information and also stimulating debate around the country about, issues that concern the people. So one of our strategies in helping the Parliament was to actually develop these partnerships with these various groups, and through the various standing committees that the Parliament has in health or education or women's issues or what have you, try to get the best of the the information, especially the voice of particularly the poorest of the poor, or these groups that, like women, for instance, whose voice are not as strongly reflected as perhaps other parts of the population.
SDPD has also developed publications on basic parliamentary information for media persons. SDPD carried out a training needs assessment for women MPs. According to the assessment, a training plan was made, which is now being executed. 2 training sessions were held on gender-responsive budgeting with parliamentarians. In both the Senate and the National Assembly, there are women's development committees. SDPD held 2 workshops on women's issues with their MPs.
We wanted a two-way exchange of information between Parliament and civil society. So, we organized a roundtable between the members of the standing committees on women development and women's rights activists and women's organizations. Another roundtable was held between these members and a network of donor agencies who are working on gender and development, called INGAD. Most importantly, SDPD has assisted women members to form a women's parliamentary caucus and establish its secretariat. We are now helping them develop their strategic plan and work program for next 4 years. SDPD has also helped them develop and disseminate reports of various monitoring visits that they have made to different institutions.
You know, I am very glad about this caucus, Women Caucus, which I have launched, and there has been very encouraging participation across the party lines. You know, the women parliamentarian, the way they have participated, this was long needed also, to provide a forum where they can rise above their political affiliation and participate in, you know, on women issues, and to form policies to bring the gender into the mainstream. The support extended by SDPD is again, you know, I really appreciate, and they have helped us in forming this caucus. They are helping us in letting us know the, you know, the caucuses world over, the international, you know, the research done in that field also, and for the women to understand that how to create more awareness, you know, how to educate women of Pakistan. We have activated all those women police stations which were there, but you know, not a single FIR was listed there. But then after this active involvement of the women parliamentarians at the district level, they have activated these women police stations. At the legislation level also, we have to see, for example, on honor killing. And there was, you know, today the cases are reported of acid burn patients. And then we had a briefing on that. And we are looking into the weaknesses of or the lacuna, you know, in the legislation, and wherever it is needed to strengthen those legislation, we are working on that, and how to sensitize our police also on that issue.
Issue-based briefing sessions were held for secretariat staff, civil society, and media persons on issues ranging from the importance of democracy, education policy, and constituency relations.
We have worked very closely with SDPD on certain counts. We have held consultations with different civil society groups, academia, people at large around issues that concern us, and we think that these issues should also be the priority of the parliamentarians. For instance, education, health, social sector development, and also you know, the Parliament's oversight role that we have emphasized in many of these consultations. So we have worked very closely with SDPD in organizing such forums and public spaces.
An interactive website was made and is being maintained and updated. Opinion polls were initiated on important issues using SDPD's website. Briefing sessions were conducted on basic parliamentary information for civil society and media. Sessions were also held with civil society and university students on the legislation process, and so were budget debates. A series of meetings was held with civil society, in which SDPD facilitated them in making proposed mechanisms to interact with the Parliament. A plan is ready to be shared with parliamentary authorities.
One of the most important pieces of work that SDPD has done is the establishment of Youth Parliamentary School. Under this, a 5-day course on democracy has been developed and is being held with universities and colleges throughout the country. It is expected that this will give rise to a network of young people who know the importance of democracy and governance systems in